Love, peace, and blessings to you all. My name is Bahoke, and I came to talk to you all on Lenon Honor, Staff Sergeant Jamal Johnson, and Dr. Umar Johnson, his son. Okay. Now, let's talk about Lenon Honor. Now, my thing is, and this is just my humble belief and my humble opinion, I don't know Lenon personally, but I will say this. I think he's wrong on some things regarding Sergeant Johnson and Dr. Johnson, meaning, Sergeant Jamal and Dr. Umar. Okay. I've watched some of Lennon's videos and stuff. Now, I don't sit around and watch the whole 3 hours or 4 hours or 2 hours or whatever it is that he goes on because it's about the same stuff. Now, he did talk about Polite and other people, you know, but mainly his subject is Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, this is where I feel Lenon is wrong, and I wrote a couple points down just so I can, directly talk to you all about it. Okay, for one, he talked about Jamal Johnson walking down Interstate 95, or what we call I-95 South, in the Philadelphia area. But what Lenon failed to explain to his viewers is that he wasn't hitchhiking. What he failed to say is that Jamal was walking down the street or down the highway in protest of the homicide rate that we have in Philadelphia, which is a very, very high homicide rate. I believe that we had last year over 560 murders, and that's not good for a city Philadelphia size. And now this year, currently, we have about 103 homicides, and it's not even June. And our rate is just about as high as Chicago's and Detroit's or worse. So he was marching to D.C. to talk to the Congressional Black Caucus to no avail. He didn't really get anywhere with it because we still have these homicides. And it's not just unique to Philadelphia. I think New York had a spike in it, Detroit, Chicago, Houston, St. Louis, and other places. They have this spike in homicides. So that's what he was trying to do. And I thought Lenon was wrong for saying that he was just walking, he to get his ass out the street. I'm paraphrasing what Lenon said, but he was wrong about that. Now, second point, he said that he didn't raise Umar Johnson. Umar was poorly raised, and that's another lie Lenon told. Okay, and I can speak because I went to school with Umar. Okay, his crew and my crew, we played basketball together. Let me tell you something. Jamal was in the military, and this is another thing Lenon fails to talk about. That this man served approximately a dozen years in the military. He also served, more specifically, as a boot camp instructor for the United States Marine Corps. So to me, I think that's an honorable thing, in this country, especially being a black man serving in the United States Armed Forces. He put his life on the line for us. And if it wasn't for people like him, we wouldn't be enjoying these freedoms we're enjoying today. So they play a part in that. Okay? So I think we should give Sergeant Johnson a little more respect with that. Okay? Now, in terms of Umar not being raised by him, yes, he was raised by his mother, and he also said he was raised by his grandmother. But he also said, Lenon said that Umar was poorly raised. That's a lie. Want to know how I know? When he came to school with us in junior high school, when he was a little boy, Umar's shoes was clean, his clothes was clean, they were well ironed and pressed, and he always had lunch with him. Okay? Now, I'm not sure whether or not he got free lunch or whatever, but he was well fed. You can tell. Because if he came to school sloppy dressed, if he was poorly raised, his hair would have been nappy, he would have stunk, he probably would have been having raggedy clothes, and if your hygiene wasn't up to par, we talked about you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we clowned you. So I know for me in my house, I know I was clean. I would come to school with white nails, and for a guy, that's pretty cool. I was well fed, well clean. But when I talk about me, we talk about Umar. He was definitely well fed, well groomed, and he was very well behaved. He never got on the suspension list in school. He was never in the discipline office. He was never in after school detention. We never seen him in any fights. He was not in no fights. He wasn't the bad kid going around punching people in the face for no reason. Umar was a very well behaved, academically smart young man. Okay, he was in all the academically gifted classes. A very nice guy. My interaction with him, which was on a limited basis, was positive. Okay. Now, Lenon also said that Umar, being the oldest child, I know he comes from a family of like I believe 8 or 9 siblings. I know Jamal has 9 kids, and I've interacted with Jamal, and I'm gonna get on that in a minute. Umar being the oldest boy, he wasn't the oldest child, but the oldest boy. And that's another lie Lenon told, that Umar's the oldest child. No, he's not. He's the oldest boy, but he has 2 older sisters. Okay, he got sent away to the Scotland School for Veterans Children. Okay, which was a boarding school about 2 to 3 hours outside of Philadelphia. It's in this town called Chambersburg, PA. Okay, now let me tell you about the Scotland School, because I had a neighbor on my street that I grew up on that went to that place. Okay, number one, Lenon said that how come none of his siblings got the chance to go to that school? You got to remember, there's a waiting list to get in there back then. Okay, back then in the 80s, there was a waiting list to get into Scotland School for veterans children, and there was also, they only had enough beds and enough rooms in the cottages on the campus to accommodate people. And I know the vast majority of students came from Philadelphia, but they had to accommodate people from Pittsburgh, Erie, Scranton, and other areas in Pennsylvania. So that's probably why his siblings couldn't go. That's the reason. Because I could have gone to Scotland School myself, because my father was in the Army, me and my siblings. Now, as of today, the Scotland School has been shut down. It was closed in 2000, I believe, 2010 by back then Governor Ed Rendell, who also served as mayor of Philadelphia, my hometown. Okay, but he closed it down for budgetary reasons. But I thought it was just a shame, because that was such a good school. It prepared a lot of the students to go in the military, go off to college, and even start businesses. It prepared young men and women, for life. And Umar was one of them. Now, okay, the fourth thing, which is everybody's topic. Okay, everybody's topic they love to talk about is the school scam or whatever. They keep saying it's a scam. He stole the money, he's ripped people off, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I've made donations to the school. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, he's a fraud, he's a scam artist, he's this and that. And the reason I say this, y'all, okay, listen. Umar is just like me in terms of practicing Ifa. We're both practitioners of a traditional African system called Ifa. Now, in Ifa, we believe that you must have good conduct, okay, or else there will be problems in your life. So I think by Umar being a practitioner of Ifa, he shouldn't be participating in any types of scams. And I'm almost certain that he's not. Because in Ifa, if you scam people or you rip people off, we believe that the Most High, Oludumare, which is God to us, and the Orisha, which is the messengers of God or Oludumare, and our ancestors will punish you for that. When you do wrong to people, bad things happen in your life. And I've seen this in myself. I've seen other Ifa practitioners do some dishonorable things, and they got punished for it. Believe me. And I'm not saying everybody in Ifa is perfect, everybody's good and righteous. No. There are some, scandalous people in there, but I think with Umar being dedicated to our practice, and what he's done and what he's sharing with you all in terms of spirituality, I don't think he's running any scams because I don't think he wants to pay the repercussions for that. That's what I'm thinking. Now, you know, that's what I say. But in terms of the school, I don't know much about how things are run, how much money he raised. Some people say he raised 750,000. I heard him say it out of his mouth. Some people think he raised 2 to 3 million. I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know the operations of the school. But I think based on our practice in Ifa, he I don't think he would rip people off or scam people. I don't think that's happening. Now, speaking of that, another thing Lenon made fun of. Now, I understand Umar believed or that the NBA could be a suspect in Kobe Bryant. Remember the Kobe Bryant video and his phone got blown off the stand? And he said, Mama, oh yeah. I took offense to what Lenon was saying, calling it, oh yeah. Come on, man. Oh yeah is an angel in our tradition, and she represents change, sweeping change. She represents, great things. And I don't like when people make fun of our stuff. Don't make fun of our spirituality, Lenon, if you're watching this video. But Lenon had no right to do that. To make fun of ancestors and make fun of that. Now, if you don't agree with the practice of Ifa, okay, go about your business. But leave us alone. Let us practice it the way we feel fit, and let us conduct our lives in a righteous manner. Okay? Now, we talked about his upbringing already. Now, also, us as over 40-something people born, okay, put it like this. People that were born between 1965 and 1979 are part of what I think the government society calls Generation X. I disagree with that title. I agree with author Omar Tyree's label, which was the hip hop generation, because we were part of that movement where hip hop made changes, most for the good, and some parts for the bad, unfortunately. But that's another topic. Okay, now I see a lot of people. I know that Lennon's my age, and some other people that are on here name calling and putting people down, calling this person a coon. I know Umar said that. That's the only thing I really have a criticism of him with that part. Calling people coons and calling this person an idiot and just, bad mouthing each other. I think that's a really terrible look because we are the leaders now. We're supposed to set an example for the next generation behind us and the generation before that and the kids that are born after 2000 also. So pretty soon we're going to become elders. We shouldn't be going around getting in another grown man's face and bragging about how he, punked him and just be all over a difference of opinion. And we shouldn't be going around punching people in the face when we have a difference of an opinion, okay, at a family reunion. It's supposed to be a family reunion in one of the largest cities in this country. We shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be, whining and crying. We look really bad as a generation. When we up here accusing others who went off to college, like myself, who got 3 degrees, and then you want to call us modern day slaves. We're trying to act white. What kind of mess is that? Or we're sellouts. Some of y'all throw the word sellout and coon around so much, I don't know what to do with you. We have to stop whining and stop blaming, the age group or generation before us, which is Sergeant Jamal and people in his age group. What they didn't do, what they should have done, and blah, 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 and this and that. Okay, they made their mistakes, but it's time for us to pick up the ball. It's It's time for us to do that. Now, some of y'all ask me, are you qualified? Do you know Jamal? Yes. I was with him last Saturday night. You know, we were trying to protest. We were trying to give out flyers to, bring attention to this serious epidemic we have going on in Philadelphia with all the homicides and stuff that's going on. I have great nieces and nephews. I got little cousins and stuff, and some of my friends have kids too. They can't even play outside without somebody shooting off. And it doesn't have to be that way. When I was coming up, we were outside, even after dark. When the weather got nice and warm, our curfew was, instead of it being 8 o'clock, was 10 o'clock. Also, the neighborhood I lived in at the time, that was a different time period. But getting back to our generation, we have to stop doing that. And then, you got people talking about, oh, I wanted him to swing on me. We're talking about like one guy, he got in the face of another guy over a difference of opinion, and he wanted him to swing. This is not third grade. Provoking people. And another thing I'm embarrassed about with our generation is some of you parents that's going out here fighting other kids. What kind of, as Lenon would say, what kind of a man at 47 years old goes and punches a 13-year-old in the face? Think about it. What kind of a man goes and punches a 13-year-old in the face? Or you got these women out here fighting and punching teachers in the face, trying to fight the principal. Also, that's a very poor look. It's a very poor look. And that's not good at all. That is not good. And we really need to stop. We need to stop all this madness that's going on here. Let's either work quietly, okay? If you got a problem with it, try to solve the problem. Do the things that you need to do. All right? And that's all I'm going to say for now. I want you guys to take care. Please drink your water. Exercise, go walking. Doing the same thing. And I'll be talking to you. Peace and blessings.